This is the Post Shift Podcast, a raw look at the hospitality industry.
What's happening, Post Shifters? I apologize this week. I know I missed a Tuesday episode, and I wanted to do what I'm going to talk about today on Tuesday, but then I decided to not, and I got busy with the opening. We opened 2 days ago, so I'm still in Singapore. It's week 5 in Singapore now, so we've gone from an empty space with no concept and just a name to fully rounded concept, constructed space, full program, training, everything, wine list, the whole shebang, in a space of 5 weeks. So as you can probably tell, it's been a learning curve on the greatest scale. And for me, I'm probably going to be in Singapore on and off for the next 6 months. I think my project time here, we've got 2 more venues to do in the next next 6 weeks. We've got two more venues. So I'm probably going to go home, 8 weeks. Probably going to go home for a month, do Toronto Cocktail Conference, and then attend there, and then come straight back to Singapore. And I'm going to bring my girls this time around and let them have a week in Singapore, because I think it's needed. The last week and a half, 2 weeks, has been a little bit difficult because I'm so focused on the opening that I haven't been going out. I haven't been experiencing Singapore. I've been getting a little bit depressed. Because it's just like work, go home, work, go to sleep, get up, do the same thing every day, and you sort of forget where you are. And I went for a walk last night with my partner in crime, Manish, to Singapore's Beer Fest, which was fucking epic. And it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. The place was just so vibrant, lights are flashing. And then we went to the Beer Fest. That's open till 2 a.m. So it was just crazy craft beer for Singapore. So last night I literally fell in love with the city all over again. I got recharged and revitalized, and we've talked about work-life balance. So work-life balance is a whole different animal. But I think the work-life balance and enjoying the city while I was here, I probably haven't done the last couple of weeks because I've been focused so much. So it was really good to get revitalized, and I'm bartending tonight at Misfits. So if you're in Singapore, which I highly doubt that you're going to be in Singapore when you see this, come on down and see me. But today I want to talk about a topic that I'm sure people who have worked with me in the past probably think that I probably shouldn't talk about this one, but managing people. And managing people has taken a different turn for me while I've been here in Singapore, because you take into account the massive cultural differences between North America and Singapore, the dichotomy of male and female in the industry here in the city. And then on top of that, hospitality is still not seen as a viable job or career here in Singapore for a lot of people. And it's almost frowned upon by some families. And so it's interesting to see how you have to manage people here. But managing people is more about much more than managing the staff you have. It's managing your clients, it's managing people who work with you, stuff like that. So at the end of the day, it's a difficult thing to do. And I used to suck at managing people in Australia, and when I first came to Canada, I was shitty at it. And I was shitty at it mainly because I come from an ex-military, a military father, and a military upbringing, I suppose. And so it's very regimented and very thankless, if you will. And it's a lot more of yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir, and sort of going with that. And I think I've mellowed over the years, probably because of my wife, Gillian, and she sort of began training me, I suppose, in a way that sort of, I think, molded my management style in some degree. And her rule of thumb has always been never expect anyone to work as hard as you do, because they're not going to. And I sort of followed that into my management style by not putting too much pressure on people because they're not going to work like I do. But also management above me or my bosses in the past, like I used to get very frustrated when they would work 40 hours and I'd be working 65, 70. And so I sort of followed that in. That sort of mellowed me out, made me understand people a little bit more. And when you're managing people, you have to understand people. And I never really understood people because growing up, I worked 7 days a week, before and after school, the weekends, everything, plus going to school. And so my dad never understood people. He saw them as cogs and machines, and that's the sort of way he looked at it. And so as a military person would. And so for me, I sort of mellowed out. But I think the big thing is that I'm not a big fan of self-help books and that sort of crap. But Philip Duff got me onto Getting More by Stuart Diamond. And I pitch this to everybody about doing this these days, because 9 times out of 10, as a manager managing staff, as a consultant managing your clients, the big thing is that everybody is trying to get to the same goal. If you're managing staff, you want them to succeed, you want the place to be profitable, you want good service, so on and so forth. The servers may see it as a means to an end. So how do you align your two paths to the same goal to achieve what you want to achieve? And I think that book really changed a lot of my perspectives. And as I said, I'm not a massive self-help book fan, because I listen to podcasts. I think reading is not my strong suit, as my wife can probably attest to. She reads book after book after book, and I read magazine after magazine after magazine. But I think that book, Getting More by Stuart Diamond, really changed the way I focused, the way I talk to people, the way I talk to my clients. There's been a number of times where I've got off the phone to a client, I want to throw my phone across the room, but then I take a breath and I think, okay, well, he wants this XYZ, and I want to get him to XYZ, but he's not understanding the process to get to that XYZ. And so you've got to understand everybody's approach and then figure out how, because everybody's usually on the same destination with different paths. And coming to Singapore, managing people has been extremely difficult. Like I said, it's not seen as something. So coming from a career bartender, a career restaurateur, myself, who devotes everything to this industry, it's hard when I don't see that reflected in people, especially ones in the industry. So I'm like, well, you're doing this 40 hours a week or 50 hours a week. Why would you not want to be the best at it? But I figured out if I make things fun for them and they're understanding and learning and they're getting better working environment because they're enjoying themselves and they understand it, they're going to get to the goal that I want to get, which is a successful restaurant. But I think the best thing I can say about managing people is, like, look at where your goal is, look at the route both people or multiple people are taking, and find a happy medium in achieving those goals. Because if you go too hard, especially in the hospitality industry, you're not going to get the flies are attracted more to honey than vinegar. And so if I can change and stop being an asshole, you can change too. So I accept the fact that I am very hard and I work a lot, and I want people to be like that. I align myself with people on my staff that have that mentality. But for people who haven't got that mentality, I can't hold it against them, because as you've probably heard a couple of my things, is like, I'd love to have a life, I'd love to think, but that's just not in my wiring. And so for me, not having that in my DNA to want to relax and to have weeks off and go on a vacation once a year, doesn't mean I should hold that against anybody else. And I think we always want people who we manage to reflect upon us, but at the end of the day, you can only do so much, and you can only polish a grubby mirror as much as you can. But even a mirror that's covered in dust still reflects you a little bit. So managing people, set an example for yourself, set an example for everybody else to follow you, and really showcase what you do and inspire people by understanding where they want to be and trying to give them a little bit of outlook on what you want to achieve, and then just reinforce and be transparent and talk them through it and support, because some people's lack of knowledge is a bad thing in the beginning, but at one stage somewhere along the line you had a lack of knowledge and you got taught by someone, good or bad, to do something good or bad. So you just got to support as much as possible. You can't assume anything. But for that little note, that's a little quick, I know it's a shorter episode. I'm going to try and get a few people in Singapore here to do a couple of episodes before I leave. Jesse Vida especially, and Jason Williams from Proofing Company. I've got 2 more weeks here in Singapore. I'm really looking forward to getting home to my girls, but I'm really looking forward to being back in 4 weeks or 6 weeks now. Thank you everybody for your support. I know that this last couple of weeks while I've been here in Singapore, I've been a little bit hit and miss with my podcast and stuff. I know I've let BC Spirits fall way behind, and I apologize for that if you're following along. Thank you for your support. I can't wait to get home and see all of you if you're listening. Have a good weekend. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thanks, Post Shifters. I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you're listening, whatever platform you're on, give me a good rating, subscribe, listen along. I'm going to keep going. I really enjoy sitting down with people and learning where they're from, what they did, and how they got to where they were. So if you love it, give me a good 5 stars. If you don't, give me 1 and I'll try harder.